What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the monthly check-in here for the month of June. And today we're going to be talking about changes in taste, specifically as it relates to music, but I might try to tie in some other life stuff with that as well. But first, as always, let's get into 3 monthly picks, 3 tracks I think you should be checking out for the month of June. First up, we have a track called How It Is, and it's from New York City MC Lord Sko. His collaboration with Static Selecta, the incredible producer, one of my favorite producers. This is a great track from their album called Elevator Music, their full collaboration album that dropped in May. And overall, I think this collaboration makes total sense because Sko and Static Selecta obviously have history, collabed many times. The first time I heard Lord Sko was on Trill Static 4, I believe, which came out at the end of 2024, and he was a feature on that as well, which is obviously Bun B and Static's album series. So it was great to see that these two finally have done a full album together. And at the time of this recording, the album is not out. It's going to be out in about a week. But by the time you guys watch this, the full project will be out. But they've already dropped 3 singles from this thing, and all 3 are great. Hangman is the other one, or one of the other ones. And I forget the name of the third one. But all 3 of them, they're very different styles, but they all really capitalize on the ability to combine Static's boom bap mixed with melodic production with Sko's rhyming ability. And this is very East Coast, very New York, as you would expect. And yeah, it's got me very excited to hear what they do on the full project. This song in particular is very lyrically driven. And I think Lord Sko, with this style of production, is getting a lot more deep into, his lyrical bag as well. So I'm very thrilled to listen to the album later this week. And, for all you guys watching, definitely go check it out because it'll be on all streaming platforms. But again, this track in particular is called How It Is by Lord Sko and Static Selecta. Definitely go give that a listen. Next up, we have pretty much the return. I would consider this the return of R&B artist Alina Baraz. She finally dropped a new single called Take Care of You. And this was kind of after somewhat of a hiatus. She obviously dropped her 2-pack with Galimatias back in October of last year to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the project Urban Flora, which was obviously her breakout project. So they dropped 2 unreleased tracks. But other than that, for the last 4 or 5 years, Alina has kind of been, not around, just I think working on her album, kind of, doing the secluded artist thing, which I have mad respect for. She doesn't seem like someone that, lives on social media, and I think that's kind of rare in the era that we're in now. But I'm kind of the impression that this song here, Take Care of You, is going to be the beginning of the rollout for this next album. And it's a very beautiful record, very something, that will make you reflect on, those people in your life that are very meaningful, whether it's past relationships or maybe somebody that is in your family or your significant other. This song can kind of be related to many different instances, and I think it's one of those ones that is definitely going to be a timeless record. I love the production. Lo-File, who's worked with her a lot and worked with a lot of other R&B artists, I believe he produced this track, and there might be some other co-producers as well. But it fits very much in the wheelhouse of what you'd expect from Alina's sound, very much rooted in R&B, soulful sound. And it's got me excited to see what her next project is going to be, because obviously I myself have been anticipating the next album since the first album, It Was Divine, came out in 2020, which I would consider one of the best albums of the decade. Yeah, so definitely go give this a listen. If you've never heard Alina's stuff, this would be a great place to start, but go check out all her other work. But this song, Take Care of You, out now on all platforms by Alina Baraz. And finally today we have a track called Rare Goodies by rapper and producer Like. And obviously Like is from the group Pac Div, who was really big in the blog era. Obviously Mibs, B Young, and Like, they made up the group. And, that was kind of what I grew up on. I wasn't a huge Pac Div person back then, but I always respected their collaborations with artists like K. Roosevelt and Dom Kennedy, and even Jansport J, producer that I'm a big fan of. But all that to say, Like dropped his first solo album since I believe 2016 was the last time he did a solo project, like a full project. He's dropped plenty of instrumental albums and different singles over the years. But this album is called Today Sounds Good, and his album came out at the beginning of May. And it's safe to say this album is in my album of the year category for sure. Like, I love the collaborations. He obviously has Mibbs and B Young on there, but Fonte is on there. We got a great outro from Terrace Martin on there. We have Huey Briss, another fellow West Coast guy on there. Just a lot of great features, and I think the production that Like brings out on this, very much rooted in the jazz and hip hop combo, which is something I've been hooked on a lot recently. And this song, Rare Goodies, was just one of the first singles, so that's why I highlighted it. But I would argue that all 12 records on this thing are super top notch. And I was just in the last few months getting hip to his sound and his style and going on his back catalog. I would go already to say that this is probably my favorite project from his full solo catalog. So again, the album is called Today Sounds Good. The song is called Rare Goodies, but check out the whole thing on all platforms. And his name is just Like, Like. Shouldn't be too hard to find. Like I said, keep an eye out for, Today Sounds Good, but the artwork, which I'll put right here, look for that artwork as well. And that leads us into today's topic, which is changes in taste. June marks my birthday every single year, obviously. June 27th. Specifically, I will be 29 years old this month, and that got me to kind of reflecting on how my life has changed over the years, but how specifically as an artist, the way that I listen to music as a fan, the way I create music, and just how things have kind of shifted really over the last 10 years or so, even the last 5 or 6 years. I look back at how I consumed art even in 2019 and 2018, very different from what it is now. And I think that getting older has a lot to do with the type of music and things that you're consuming. And for me, especially the last few years, I've always sought out art that can inspire me on a personal level and be more relatable to what I'm going through. I used to listen to a lot more music that was more lifestyle driven. Obviously high energy stuff, like super high octane music, and obviously nothing wrong with that. I still love that every now and then. But for the most part, I feel like my playlist has really mellowed out. Like I'm listening to a lot more instrumental stuff, mostly to study it as a producer. I create a lot of instrumental projects, so I'm always studying different producers and what are they doing for their albums, like how are they sequencing, sound selection, all that different sort of things. So I'm listening to a lot of instrumentals. But as far as like the hip hop goes, I'm seeking out lyricists that specifically are getting to the heart of what is going through their brain at the time of life when they're creating this music, and just getting very intentional about what I'm listening to. And that in turn is affecting the music that I'm making, because I realize that, now especially, it always has been this way, it's just been different and it's evolved. The music that I care about the most is the music that speaks to me on a personal level. And the music I put out, I want people to be able to feel that on a personal level as well. So it's going to be interesting to see, because obviously, a lot of people would say 29 is not very old. I don't feel as young as I did, for sure. Just a few years ago even. It's kind of crazy that, my 20s are almost over at this point. But I'm kind of looking at it in a way of like, because I'm becoming more of a grown individual, both like literally and figuratively, it's having such a great effect on the type of music that I'm creating. It all starts from that change in taste of like, what am I consuming? Therefore, what am I creating? And I think both things kind of go hand in hand. I think I say all of that to kind of come to the point of, if you are a creative, Even if you don't do music, maybe you do drawing or you write poetry or whatever you do. Keep in mind about what you are intaking as a fan of art, because I always love the saying of you get out what you put in. So if you're putting in things that are not very fulfilling to you, or things that you don't believe in on a personal level, you're gonna put that energy out. Even if you don't know it, you're gonna start putting that energy out in what you're creating, and it's gonna kind of create a negative effect. But if you're intaking things that really mean something to you and speak to you on a personal level, you'll want to do that for someone else. And it's really that energy transfer of being able to inspire other people, which is the whole goal of what we do in general. So I could be just spewing stuff. This might not make sense to anybody, but I wanted to share this today because it's something that really got me motivated and really just got the wheels turning on like how all this stuff really does connect at the end of the day. Even the things we think that don't connect, I think they have a big overall impact on what we do and how we move forward as creatives. A few updates for you guys and a few things to kind of note on. The final single from my upcoming instrumental project called Mural of a Sober Introvert, the third and final single called Rooftop, is going to be dropping this month in June. It should be out by the time this video is released. I want to once again to say thank you guys for supporting Lost Letter and Intricate Symptoms, the other two singles. I think you guys are going to love this one. This one is probably the most emotional of the three. And again, Mural of a Sober Introvert is going to be released early on Even starting next month, July 17th. So be on the lookout for that. And then it'll be everywhere in August. So you'll be able to hear the full project as well. And I just want to say again, thank you guys for checking out the first two, and check out Rooftop when it does release. I also want to give a big thanks to everybody supporting my collaboration EP with Elijah Russian. We dropped Clouds Volume 1 early on May 29th. It's going to be available on my birthday, June 27th, everywhere. So you guys will get to hear it. If you haven't heard it, go check it out on Bandcamp. I'm probably going to put the link in the description of the video as well. 4-track EP. Really solid music featuring another fellow collaborator, Quan, as well. Did a great verse for us on the track Benefit. And yeah, I'm very excited to continue my work with Elijah. He's already become one of my favorite collaborators, and I think you guys are going to love the quality of what we're putting out, and kind of just a blend of our two styles and sounds. So check out Clouds Volume 1. And again, thank you guys for listening and supporting so far. Other than that, stay tuned, because the second half of the year is going to have a lot more surprises in store, and we're getting ever so close to me unveiling another big project that I'm working on that should be out in the second half of the year. So stay tuned for that. But again, really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you got something from the message today, and see you next month for another edition of the Monthly Check-In. Till then, take care, everyone.